Alright, my homies, we are back. Back in the Unity. See what more crazy game stuff we can make. We had quite a lot of success earlier. We started off making some really arbitrary, strange decisions, and we ended up with something pretty cool. However, then my internet decided to throw a hissy fit, and I had to end the stream. So, I spent that time, I've restarted my router now and everything seems to be fine. But yeah. In the meantime, I had something to eat. And I made some changes. Just behind the scene changes, I didn't add any functionality. But I changed the way a few things work. And then I started the stream before I'd finished changing how things work. So, this is going to be a bit interesting. So, the current thing we're trying to resolve is we used to have multiple different types of character. We had 3 different types. 4 different types. We had player, enemy, healing, and bullet. And I decided we should really just have 1 type. So, that's what we have. Just character, because the only thing that was changing between the types was the way we configure them. So I thought, you know what, let's just make something that configures the types. So now we have this character builder class, and it takes a bunch of character details, which we get from here. I'm actually going to remove these though. So it has a character type. We used to just use a string, but I've created an enumerator, which has ally, enemy, bullet. 3 different types. I might add a 4th, which is like collectible, but for now, ally, enemy, bullet. I think I can actually get rid of bullet, honestly. I think just ally and enemy will be enough. For now, at least. So, we can now create a character by doing something like... Well, this is what I'm trying to figure out. So, we can go like, if I just create a random method. We can go... create... And we can say details equals new character details. And then we can say details dot health equals 1. Details dot speed equals 2. Details dot character type equals character type dot ally, and then we can do all the rest, which I'm not going to do because I'm just showing how this will work. Then we can pass in the details, and this will create a character for us. But if we want to add these different types of ability, we can then use the magic of extension methods to do this. Add move in direction ability. Or add move active ability. A move active takes a key code D and right. So now we can easily add all these different abilities using these, and it cleans things up quite a lot. It means we don't have to do it in all the different constructors. And hopefully, it'll massively simplify matters when it comes to creating new objects, which is going to be good because we're going to want to create a lot of new objects. So the first place we'll want to do this is Let's see. So there's an ability that we created, which was an active ability called Shoot At, and I had to comment out all this code. All of it. Every single part of this code has been commented out. So this is where we're going to use the new create stuff. So for that, we need to pass in a character builder. So that in here, we can say builder.create, but first, var bullet details equals new character details. We'll probably want to tidy this up even further, but for now, let's say the character type is an ally. Wonder if that music is too loud. I'm going to bring it down just a little. I just want it in the background, you know? Just chilling in the background. So, it's an ally. Although it should really be myself dot character type. So that if an enemy shoots one, it's an enemy bullet. Bullet details dot, because we might do something really clever, like have some enemies that when we shoot at the mouse cursor, they also shoot at the mouse cursor. So you have to pick your angle really sneakily with them. So health doesn't really matter. Let's just make it 1. Position equals myself dot transform dot position. Rotation equals myself transform rotation. What's that complaining about? Of course they don't use capital letters. What scumbags? Bullet details dot speed can be 10. So theoretically I could have made these just be parameters that we pass into create, but I thought if we do this we can actually reuse these details as time goes on. So we can create one and then just keep using it. Like let's say we wanted to make 10 bullets here. We could do something nice like that. And just create one of these but fire out 10 of them. So I think it's quite good having it separate like this. Then we've got character type, health, position, rotation, speed. We need size and texture. So the size is going to be, we do this as a rectangle, which has what, width and height? Okay, I'm going to change this to take a size object. And then character builder can create the rectangle. New rect and that takes details.size, and it also takes, what else does it take? Position. Now I should be able to see here on one of these. What the sprite uses for its size. I'm assuming its position is going to be relative, right? Because we're using, let's have a look. Hello, General. We've progressed quite far, actually. I'm just trying to change a few things, and then I'll show it off. We've actually done quite a lot. Sprite takes size. No, sprite takes erect. I need to check Unity Engine sprite to see what the hell erect is. The documentation for Unity is really good. Location of the sprite on the original texture, specified in pixels. Okay. That's in case you have one big file. So, okay. That's actually not something we care about. Although it might be. Let's go back to Unity. Transform has scale. We probably want to do that, actually. So for this, we just want to use details.texture. Does it have erect? Dimension? No. It must have one, right? Like, let's say that I want to create a sprite and I don't really care. I just want it to do the whole texture. Sprite create. Is there any other? They all take a rectangle. Like, what if I just don't care and I just want the texture? I guess that's width and height, right? So we can do... I guess we can do it. Texture.width details texture.height. We shouldn't really have to do that. It's kind of weird, but okay. That's an int. Rect takes a float. Okay. 0, 0 width height. And then we can just pass in the rect. And then the final parameter is pivot. What the hell is pivot? Location of the sprite's center point. Okay. So that should actually be... Pivot is a vector 2. New vector 2. Can I just do vect.center? Ah, brilliant. Rect.center. I mean, if it can get that, I don't know why you need to pass both, right? That should be optional at best. Maybe it is. No, it's not. You always have to provide a pivot. That should be optional, right? If you provide a rectangle, and the rectangle has a center, you should be able to say, you know what? Just use the center. Instead, we have to artificially pass in the center. But that's fine. Now the question is, how do we get this texture? Once we answer that, we've done everything we need, I think. So, how do we access a texture? Can we just do texture 2D dot load? It is C#, yeah. You know, Java, HTML, and a bit of Python. Well, you know, that'll hold you in good stead for quite a lot of things. But yeah, this is pure C#. Although it's mono, which is like a... I think it's open source version of clones the object. Okay. Like an open source version of .NET that C# that can compile for Linux, etc. But .NET Core uses Mono mostly because .NET Core is open source. That uses Mono, so Mono's kind of going to die out. .NET Core is going to kind of take it over the coming years. Especially once .NET 5 comes out in 2020. How the hell do I create a texture? Unity, create texture at runtime. How do I create a texture dynamically? No, wait, that's not what I want. I guess load texture at runtime. Load image. Aha, texture 2D load image. Why would the official Unity webpage tell me I can use texture 2D load image? And then say, nah, I'm only joking. Oh, I see. It's not a static method. Var texture equals new texture 2D. Does that have parameters that I need? Width and height. But I don't know the width and height until I load the image. Ah! This will auto resize the texture dimensions. Oh, okay. So you can just put whatever in a... Where am I supposed to be? Here. No. Character builder. You can just put whatever in here. And then go texture.load image. And then what? You provide a file path? No, you provide a byte stream. Wow, they really make this easy, huh? Fine. Oh, the things I do for customization. File dot read all bytes. File path. Yeah. Details dot file path. Let's call it texture path. And then if I go to my details, instead of texture 2D, we'll just have string texture path. Is that complaining? No. Okay, let's close everything we're not using. Okay. Oh, that's going to be super annoying. Okay. There we go. Right. Load. And then var texture data. Texture data. There we go. So now, as long as a character that we create has a file path, we should be good. So, what was size again? I feel like I wanted size for something. Yeah. Because in the builder, we want to do... character dot... No, wait. Obj dot transform dot scale. Local scale is a vector 3. Okay. Vector 3 size. And our scale for an object is... let's just say 111 for the bullet. Vector 3 dot... Can I get a nice just 111 without having to type it out? 1. Perfect. I wonder if I should make the size just be a multiplier of vector 1. Yes. Okay, size is going to be 1. We're going to make size just be a float. And then in here, we can say obj.transform.scale equals vector3.1 times details.size. Cool. Aha, welcome back. So that's cool. That's cool. You're now on your iPad 3. Ooh, fancy, fancy. Bullet details dot texture path equals, and then... Now you could argue that I'm making this more complicated for myself. But on the flip side, I think I'm actually making it preferable to myself. Where is my folder? Game dev, testing things, assets. I need a texture for the bullet. I'll be back in a sec. Without Jailbreak to test any Unity game. Oh, it's unfortunate. Maybe I could release it on the Apple iStore. I'll be back briefly. No, back suit and screen. Didn't think I'd be gone for very long. And I wasn't. So, what was I doing? Oh yeah, trying to find a texture. So, I wonder what file type the textures can be. Unity sprite texture file type. Oh wow, can use loads. Okay. Circle.png. Perfect. I don't want a hollow circle. God damn it, I don't want a hollow circle. Ah! All I ever wanted was a non-hollow circle. Aha, okay. This'll do. Game dev. Testing things. New folder. Textures. What have you missed in the creation of the game? Not much. My internet actually mostly died on me. Why is that a JPEG? Okay, let's go to Unity. I feel like in Unity I should be able to add an asset, which will be a texture, right? Create a circle sprite. Did that create a circle? I mean, it did, but it's not strictly what I want. Well, I've massively improved the character creation though, which is going to be nice. Is there like a create texture as opposed to a sprite? Render texture? No, I don't want a render texture. I just want a basic texture, you know? None of this nonsense. I just want a basic texture. Just a regular sprite. Let's Google it. Unity import 2D texture assets. Oh, okay. So, cool. Let's do this right. Can I add Photoshop to my list? Can I run the game? Surprisingly, not now. I actually can't run the game right now. I have broken it in the process of fixing it. Which is a bit weird. But it's true regardless. So that's what we're doing now. We're sorting it out so that it runs. Just bear with me for 1 second. I just want to... Just, you know, Create a circle. That will do. And I will export as PNG into... I'll set up Photoshop on my streaming if we end up using it a lot. But right now, I just want a circle. Circle.png. Now if I go back into here, there we have it, circle.png. Brilliant. And now I should be able to, in here, I'm just going to hard code it for now, because it's going to make life easy. Circle.png. And then we say create, and we pass in the bullet details. And this, while it may seem convoluted, is actually pretty nice. You now have 144p. Ooh, that's rough. I haven't even dropped any frames, so you can't blame my end. And that is going to do most of the stuff for us. Then when we create it, we want to add... what? Move in direction? Oh, your internet's dying. Yeah, that is unfortunate. So let's take these two lines. Instead of bullet char position, we just want myself I guess bullet details dot position will do. And then we want to pass in diff. There we go. And we also want it to add die over time. Die over time takes... what does die over time take? Just a time. So let's say 5 seconds. And does the bullet need anything else? It needs add damage on hit. And that can do 1 damage to character type enemy. There we go. And that's quite a nice way of creating a character, right? So to create a bullet, we can just do that. And it's extensible, so that each time we want to add something, we can just add another extension method, as the cool kids would say. And that will create a bullet that does 1 damage, lasts for 5 seconds, and moves towards the mouse. Very nice. And shoot at cursor ability. That's what this is, right? Extension methods. So this also needs the character builder, because it's going to pass it in here. There we go. So now the character builder can be used to create a bullet. So now we know how to do that. What we want to do now is we actually want to go back to Unity for a sec. We've been spending a lot of time in the code. Yeah, that's fine. We want to player body. Get out of here. Enemy body. Healing body. Enemy body, you can stay as a reference. Let's add a new empty object called enemy spawner. And we'll add a new script called enemy spawner. And this is just going to be super basic. It's just going to, let's see, private. It's going to have its own character builder. Builder equals new character builder. Don't think that takes any parameters. And we'll say int max enemies equals 1. And on update, and it'll also have a list of characters. Called characters. Characters equals new list of characters. We'll tidy all this up. That's my caveat that I always have. And then we'll say if characters.count is less than max enemies. Let's add this in front of everything. You don't need to, but it's nice. Okay. Cool. So then we also want a character detail called enemy details. Will we add more enemy spawners? Well, yeah, I just want something to spawn an enemy so we can get back to where we were. Theoretically, what I want to do is make another ability type, which is spawn enemies. And then we can have enemies that spawn enemies, or we can have bullets that spawn enemies. And, you know, all that kind of stuff. Or we can have something where if you get poisoned when you die, an enemy spawns. So, will enemy spawners move randomly? Well, this is the point, right? Because of the way we've made this configurable, we'll be able to turn anything into an enemy spawner. So, theoretically, yes, they can move randomly. Or we can have the enemy spawners chase the player, or run away from the player, and we can make it so the enemy spawners have health, so you can kill them. Or we can make it so the enemy spawners heal any enemies who are near them. We can do all sorts of stuff. So, yeah. I'm not too worried about the enemy spawners specifically just now. For now, I just want to have one so that we can spawn an enemy, you know? Because previously, we were creating them here, right? We were saying, here's the enemy, we've placed him here. That's not going to work for us. So, we need to actually, because of my new character creation system, we can't just drag them off there. So instead, we'll have a spawner, which we'll drag off there, and then that'll create all the characters. So if, okay, so enemy details equals new character details. And we'll just go through this. Enemy details dot character type equals character type dot enemy. Enemy details dot health equals 5. Enemy details dot speed equals, we had them at 1 before, right? Let's put them at 2. Let's give them a little bit more speed. Enemy details dot size equals 2. Enemy details dot position equals this dot game object dot transform dot position. Hey Fred. This game object dot, can I just, no. When you say looks like everything is just fine here, is that sarcasm? It's hard to tell, you know. Let's do rotation. Enemy details dot rotation. We've got size, we've got position, we've got rotation. Oh, a KSP joke. And let's see, for our texture path, for now, I'm just going to do the same thing we did for shoot at cursor. I'm just going to hard code it. We'll figure out a nice way to store our texture paths in a bit. Once we've got the game working again, that's when we can start worrying about this stuff. For now, I just want to get our new character building system to actually build some characters and see them on the screen, so we can be sure that it's working. And that should be everything, right? So then we can say, if the character count is less than the max enemies, characters add var enemy equals enemy builder. It's just called builder, right? How to be a chat moderator. Oh, it's easy. It's just like that, right? Equals builder dot create, and then we'll pass in enemy details. That's nice because it means we don't have to specify this for every enemy. We can just specify it for a single spawn point. And then let's see, what should enemies have? Add move to target. And that takes a character. Ooh. Ooh, that's going to be interesting. That's going to be real interesting. Okay. Let's see. How can we do this? Cal, you can be a mod as well. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. So we need to pass in who their target is. Their target, which means that really here we need public character player. We'll have to set that before we can create any enemies. Which makes sense, you need a player before you can create enemies, right? Otherwise they're not going to know what to do. Theoretically, we could have them find the player afterwards. But I don't want them to. We could have a separate ability for that. Which would be like, add move to any friendly or something. But for now, we just want to move to the player. And add damage on hit. How much damage should they do? Let's make them do... They did 3 damage before, right? So it took 2 hits to kill us. And they will target allies. And I think that's all they had. They could move and they could damage. Then we'll add them to there. And also, for each enemy, for each var enemy in this characters, if enemy dot, can I tell if he's been destroyed? It means you can delete messages of other viewers, but I wouldn't abuse it. Otherwise, I will revoke your privileges. But it means nobody can delete your messages. That's why I like to make everyone a mod, because it means nobody can F with each other. But also, if you're not... sorry. If you're not a mod, YouTube limits like how often you can type and stuff. So theoretically, you could spam the chat. You are, yeah. Sorry, that test falls apart. If someone new came along, you could test deleting their stuff. I make everyone a moderator. So YouTube has limits on what non-moderators can do. Like, they can only type one message every 10 seconds or something like that. Maybe more than that, but there's definitely a limit. They have a spam thing that kicks in. But if you're a moderator, it never kicks in. No, it's not responsibility, man. There's no responsibility at all. Because everyone's a mod, so you can't even do anything. All it means is you're not limited by not being a mod. It means that theoretically you could spam the chat with just the letter, with just one, if you really wanted to. But then you would lose your mod privileges, but that wouldn't really matter because you don't really have any privileges from being a mod. So, you know, it works out fine because everyone's a mod. So it's the same as you all not being mods, except YouTube can't artificially limit how often you can type. So, you know, works out quite well. The only thing is, it's a bit weird when someone new comes in and they see that everyone who's talking is a mod. It looks a bit weird. But you know what? That's fine. If people can't handle that weirdness, that's on them. So, let's see. Character. I want public bull is dead. You've got a question. Shoot. When we kill me, I want this dot is dead equal true. This is probably massively inefficient, but this dot characters dot remove all who are dead. There we go. Do you know what means L? I think so. L means like failure, right? L is failure. It's like loss, right? Like taking an L means taking your defeat. I think that's what it means. But I'm an old man, so I might be wrong. But I'm sure you will educate me if I'm wrong. L can mean loser, yeah. That's the old school one though, isn't it? Where you put the L up on your head. I thought it had moved on since then. Am I wrong? I think it has moved on since then. Let's Google it. Taking an L. When people tell you to take an L, they're not telling you to lose. They're telling you you need to get over losing because you've already lost. Yeah, exactly. I was close enough, in my opinion. And my opinion is what counts. As long as I think I was close enough, then I'm happy. Guy, you've distracted me. What were we doing? We were creating an enemy spawner, which should now actually work. The only thing is, how are we going to pass the enemy spawner, the player, when we're going to have a player spawner as well? Shoot. Maybe we can get away with not having a player spawner. One sec. If I create an empty object... Actually, let's delete that. If I create a 2D object... Ooh, actually, that's not correct. I missed some things in Builder. So... actually, no, maybe it's alright. Character Builder, object type. Okay. So, you don't think Fortnite will not die in 2020? Do you think it will die in 2020? So we want to create an empty object called haha, cool, I can change that up here. We want to call the object character builder. And it's not going to have anything in it. It's just going to be randomly shoved away up here. Off screen. Out where nobody cares about it. And we're going to add to it the character builder script. And it needs an object type for players. So that's what this is for. Let's rename this to character. It wants a box collider. It wants a scale of 1. We don't want it to have a script. And no, actually we do want it to have a script. We want it to have a character script, right? Should always have a character script. And it's a rigid body that's kinematic. And it has a sprite renderer. Where's the sprite that it's using? Is that input field background? Yeah, I guess so. What's my day job? Programming. Programming. Making a weird game is not my day job. Programming. Which is cool. Enemy spawner builder is never assigned to. That's fine because we're going to assign to it now. No, wait, it wants the player. Shoot. Uh-oh. Get out of there. Here we have the problem, right? The enemy spawner needs a reference to the player. Also, I think for now I can just say screw the texture, right? Yeah. Do you have more sprites in the circle and the square now? No, quite the opposite. We're actually going back to just having the circle. Which I know is not really what you wanted to hear. But we do have the ability to have more than a circle or a square. Let's remove that. Let's add a circle collider with a radius of 1. If I change the scale on this, does that change the scale of the collider? Yes. Okay, good. So, how? So if we move the enemy spawner to be up here, you want to say one word? Go for it. Colors. That's actually a very good word to say. I actually forgot all about colours. That's a good call. Let's have a look. In Character Builder, character.get component sprite renderer renderer equals, and then renderer dot color equals details dot color. And then in here we can say public color. Now we can set the color when we create a character. Oh, give me a break. Character details does have color. Look, I just added it. Oh, okay. Unity engine color. There we go. Oh my god, it's still bitching at me. Alright. I'll go with the American spelling. Because that's also spelt that way. Okay, Fred. You enjoy your sleep. Now, we can say our bullet color equals color dot white. And our enemy color equals color dot red. So that's pretty cool. Okay, catch you later. So then, now that the word color has been sorted, what was I missing? I wanted to turn this into a prototype or a prefab. Like that. I want to delete the bullet prefab. We don't need it anymore. Cool. And then I want to delete this character. So character builder is going to use character prefab. That means every time we ask for a character, it'll create one of these, and then we'll modify it. And then enemy spawner. Okay, am I back? I am back. I think I know what might have been up. I think. Possibly. Maybe. Potentially. Theoretically. I had my Wi-Fi set to 5G instead of 2G. And the thing with 5G is it's a lot faster, but it's also a lot less reliable. So now people say when you stream, you shouldn't stream using Wi-Fi, but those people can go to hell. As long as you stream with 2G Wi-Fi, it tends to work fine. Whereas 5G is very fast, but it doesn't take as much care with the data, so a lot of data can get lost, and OBS really doesn't like that. But if you do it with 2G, it seems to work fine. So I think we should be up and running again. I believe. I'm not dropping any frames, which is a good sign. So, let's go back in. Now we had one more dilemma we had to resolve, and I had a theory for resolving it. Why is the player containing a player? Oh, because I was halfway through creating it. Player spawner. spawner. So, did my stream shut down? I don't think it did. I don't know if anyone stuck around during that failure. Possibly not. But let's see if my stream is working. I'm not dropping frames. It says I'm live. Let me up the quality to 1080p. I can't hear myself, but you guys might be able to hear me hearing myself. I can't hear myself, but you guys might. Ahaha! Good. We're back in business. We are back in the proverbial business of trying to figure out what's going on. Let's add our relaxing music again. Even though, by doing that, my video gets copy strike claimed. But you know what? I don't monetize, so it's fine. There we go. We're back in business. This music is allegedly good for helping you focus. And I found it always helps. It's my go-to music for when I'm trying to focus. So, the player spawner is gonna have a player character. The enemy spawner is going to have, instead of the player, it's going to have a player spawner. So the enemies will know where the player is spawning, which is a little bit cheap, but it's fine. They just need a reference to the player. Then we can say player spawner dot player. Right? Yeah, brilliant. But we only want to do that if player spawner dot player does not equal null. So if it does equal null, return. So if we haven't created a player yet, don't do anything. Then we can say max players. We'll probably want to turn this into a generic kind of spawner class in the same way that we did with the abilities. But for now, it's fine. Let's change this to player details. I should probably change this to just be a character spawner, right? But that's fine. We're probably not going to use these spawners. We're going to make characters who are the spawners. So this is fine for now. And the player doesn't use move to target. He uses move active. And we have move active takes keycode.d vector 3 dot right. Add move active ability keycode dot a vector 3 dot left. Add move active ability keycode dot w vector 3 dot up and add move active ability keycode s vector 3 dot down, and our new one, add shoot at cursor ability keycode dot space, and that also takes another character builder. Okay. Because it takes... Let's call this the player builder. And then we need... Let's make that public. We need to make this one public as well. And then this guy also needs a... Let's call it a bullet builder. This dot bullet builder. There we go. Did players have anything else? They don't damage on hit. We know that. They can move and they can shoot. That's all the player can do, right? However, the player is going to be blue. And his size is going to be 4. And his speed is going to be 10. And he's going to be an ally. And I think that's fine. Let me just check the enemy spawner. Yeah, I think that's fine. We need another one for health packs, but that's okay. We'll worry about health packs later. For now, I just want to make sure spawning works in general. And this is a good way to do that. So, let's put him in his own file. Let's go back here. We've got a character builder. Which takes an object of character. Is that right? Wait, do we really need 2 builders? Don't know if we do need 2 builders. No, we don't. 1 builder is enough. It can build players and it can build bullets. So... Yeah. Cool. So, our character builder takes this character prefab. Our enemy spawner takes this character builder. And then we need to add another empty, which is going to be called player spawner. And this is going to use the player spawner script. And the player spawner takes a builder. And it has a player, but we don't set that. But what we do is we say the enemy spawner has access to the player spawner. So he knows when the player has spawned, and then he can start spawning enemies. So... I think we're good. Now it's probably going to fall apart. I don't expect this to work first time. But let's see what happens. Where's the player spawner? Let's move that down here. Let's move that down here. Well, I hope we can see it in action. That's exactly what we're trying to do now. And the enemy spawner can be up here. Okay, let's see what happens. I don't expect it to work. I expect there to be a ton of issues, but this is where we find out what those issues are. Oh, we have our player. Player spawning works. I mean, we don't see the player on our camera for some reason, but he does exist. His Z is wrong. Okay. That's fine. Let's go back to our spawner. Maybe that's why we didn't see the enemy, but I don't think it is. Let's go to character builder. Details. Where are we getting the position from? The spawner. Okay, so let's put the spawners at 0 on the Z-axis. Let's see. So it's definitely creating the player, and he can shoot. Hey, that's actually working. That's not bad, huh? First time. Apart from that Z-axis issue, but it was working. Right? We still need to limit how fast we can create bullets, but that's okay. So why isn't the enemy spawner working? It's going to have something to do with all these errors. Oh, the game state manager's falling apart. Is that because player died failure state does not have a character? You know what? That's fine. We're gonna just delete our failure state for now. We'll want to make a nice method for doing those anyway. For now, we'll just stick with the players. Right, is it going to work now? No, still no enemy. Why do we have no enemies? We're setting max enemies to be 1. Characters should be 0, so it should come in here. It should create an enemy. And then it should... Hang on. Let's add some debugging. Debug.log creating new enemy. Is the builder an enemy? No, the builder is used by everyone. We're still getting null references in the game state manager. But why? I told it not to... Why is he back again? Look at that. I clearly deleted these, right? I saw myself delete them. I'm not going crazy, am I? Am I going crazy? I thought I deleted those. Anyway, it's not creating them, otherwise we'd be seeing a log message here that said... What would it have said? It would have said, creating new enemy. Hey, you're going back a minute. Oh, yeah, that's good. Let's check, because I'm sure I deleted those lines. I'm not sure when they came back. Why is it never reaching that? I know why it's never reaching that. I know exactly why it's never reaching that. I'm never setting player. In fact, arguably, we don't need player. We can just make characters be public. Then the enemy spawner, we can say if player spawner dot characters dot any, if there's any, no. If there aren't any characters in the player spawner. I did delete them. That's what I thought. And then we'll say player spawner dot characters dot first. Now it'll work. I was never setting player here, so it was always just bailing out. Now it'll create the enemies. And it'll create a constant stream of them. Whenever we kill one... Why isn't he dying? At least it's not creating more than one. That's a good test. Why isn't he dying? You're going to have to rework collision again. Good question. I wouldn't think I'd have to, because the prototype, the character, has a rigid body. Ah, I haven't got his trigger. Thank you, Calback. Thank you very much. I think that was it. Well, it's definitely doing something now. Definitely hitting them because they're dying, right? It's weird though, it's like the enemy is killing them, they're not killing the enemy. What the hell did we just do? Oh, he keeps killing us. He keeps killing us, look at that. And then we respawn at our location. I broke it. Yeah, possibly. Let's have a look. I must have messed up my... where's the bullet spawner? Where's that event? It's a active ability, and it is shoot at cursor. It should damage the enemy. So that's an on-hit ability. It's got damage on hit for targets, and it reduces the health of the target by its damage. That's what it is. I figured it out. You know how I got rid of the bullet type? I said we don't need bullet, we can just have ally and enemy. Not true. Because the enemy kills allies, so the enemy is killing the bullet. You know, we could do something really interesting with the bullets, right? Instead of them having damage, for some of the bullets, we could have them deal however much of their health they have left when they hit the enemy. Which means the further away the enemy is, the less damage the bullet will do. So the closer you are when you shoot, the more damage you'll do. We can do that very easily because the bullets have health. We can say, instead of having a damage thing, if we look at the bullet right now, he's using damage on hit, right? And he's got damage. We could create a new one, which is like damage using health on hit, and instead of having a damage stat, it could check myself.health, and it could take that off the enemy health instead. Sort of like a shotgun, yeah. Except a shotgun would fire out multiple small bullets that spread out. This would be more like anything, I guess, right? Any bullet, the further away it is, the less damage it'll do. Theoretically. But for now, we won't worry about that. It's just something we could do, theoretically. A BB gun. Yeah, exactly. Think about a BB gun, right? That's a good example. If you shoot that right next to your head, it's going to do some damage. But if it hits you from far away, it's not going to do much. So you could very easily do that by using the bullet's health to define how much damage it does. And wouldn't that be cool? However, I've figured out a problem. So, when we create a bullet, our bullet details need to say bullet details dot character type equal, actually, it's up here, equals character type dot bullet. There we go. Now, hopefully, it'll work. Because now the enemy won't be killing the bullets, which is what it was doing before. Why is it still killing the bullets? At least we know he's killing us. He damages enemies. What about the enemy spawner? He damages allies. Where's damage on hit ability? It takes damage and it takes a target type. On collision with a target, do damage. So if I go to... where was it? It was... here. If targets does not contain the character type, don't do anything. So when our bullet touches an enemy, yeah, this should be working. Why are they dying? It's almost like their roles are reversed. They're not die on hit. No, look, if I go here, they add damage on hit, and they've got die over time. But they're not die on hit. I mean, they should be. Don't get me wrong. They should be die on hit. But they should be damage on hit first, right? They do 1 damage to the enemy. Let's check his health. Maybe he's just not... Let's pause. Let's select him so we can see his health at all times. Yeah, his health's not going down. Ah, but look, his character type is ally. Look at that. Why is his character type ally? That's not right. His character type should be enemy, right? Otherwise the bullet can't hurt him. Now I don't know why the bullet's disappearing, but that is definitely a problem. Where's our enemy spawner? We're telling him to be an enemy. Okay, where's our character builder? I'm not setting the character type. Character type equals details dot character type. Now that shouldn't be the only problem, but that would have been a problem. Still doesn't explain why they're disappearing, but that's okay. There we go. I want to only fire one bullet. See, now they're not disappearing, so why were they disappearing before? Oh, I know why. I know why. Because previously, everything was being set to be an ally, right? So even though I created that new bullet type, the bullets were still allies. So the enemy was killing them before they could hit him. Now we do want to make the bullets disappear when they kill someone. Ah ha 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 ha. Okay. Aren't you going to have shooting enemies? If so, the bullets can only hit enemies. You are correct for now. But all we need to do here is say private character type. In fact, private. Yeah. Character type targets params character type targets this dot targets equals targets and this dot targets. Now when we go to the player spawner, no wait, when I just need to update this as well to take this. There we go. Done. So now we can say shoot at character type enemy. And then if we wanted, we could add this to... Let's add it to the enemy, right? So the enemy also fires when we fire. This will be a nice test. But he's going to shoot at ally. Right? So now whenever we fire, the enemy is going to fire as well. But it's going to damage us. See that? Obviously we'll want them to have different colour bullets. But for now it's okay. So if I go over here and then we both shoot here, he should shoot us. And kill us. See that? He's killing us. Now he's not moving anymore for some reason. Need to figure that out. Oh no, he's moving. I think I know why he's not moving. Or he wasn't moving. He wasn't going to move until we died again. We'll need to figure that out. We killed each other. Yeah, exactly. I died to the target and got messed up. We'll have to fix that, but... You know, that's a small issue. We'll need to make it so that the enemy bullets are a different colour as well. But that'll be easy enough. All we need to do for that is add another parameter. Colour. Make the colour equal colour. Colour. If you live a split second longer, it only cares if you spawn or they spawn. Yeah, exactly. The problem is, right, when we do this move... Where is it? It's a constant ability, right? Move to target. We pass in the character that they move towards. And so if we die, we're no longer that character. We're a new character. So he's trying to move towards the old character, not us. So we'll need to put something a bit cleverer, where instead of giving it the target, we'll have like a player manager that keeps track of the current player. And then we'll give this the player manager instead of a target. Or we'll create like a target manager or something. We just need another layer so that when we die, something can tell this guy, instead of just move to a target, move to, and then the target can change over time. Which we'll also want anyway, because if we have multiple players, we might want them to go towards the closest player. So, you know, or if we're firing homing bullets that move towards the closest enemy, if that enemy dies, we want the other ones to go towards the next enemy. So, yeah. We'll need to work on that, but that's okay. It's good that they're the problems that we're having to deal with, right? So, that means we're definitely making progress. So the enemy bullets can be... Let's just make them red. They're small. That's fine. And let's make our bullets be blue. There we go. Obviously we can change these later. And now our bullets no longer exist. Well, great. I really screwed that up. Because I never stored the color. This dot color equals color. There we go. Do like pink. For which? For which one? The enemy one. Huh? Huh? That didn't kill him for some reason. There we go. I think it was frame lag. We need to limit the amount of objects we can create. This is just too crazy. We'll also make it so they don't just survive for 5 seconds. We can say if they go off the screen, they die as well. Pink for the enemy, purple for us. Yeah, okay. Deal. Pink. Ah, colour doesn't contain pink. That's some BS. Magenta. Magenta is pink. And then... player spawner. Does it have purple? No. We'll have cyan. I don't know what cyan is. Let's have a look. Oh, it turns out magenta's kind of purple. Purpley pink. Why do they have magenta but not pink? Yeah, I know. You can actually create your own custom ones, so we could do it. But you know what? This is alright. I mean, this is just for testing, right? It doesn't really matter what these are. Huh? Oh, I almost sneezed. Oh, no sneeze for me. Okay, so that is pretty cool. And we only have 3 objects, really. An enemy spawner, a player spawner, and a character builder. It was your idea to get slightly different colours anyway, so it worked out. Yeah, exactly. It did. So, let's add a constant ability. We're going to add a new one. Just a small one. Public class die off screen. Public, and that is a constant ability. This is just going to make it run a bit faster. We can say if public die off screen needs to take myself, private character, myself, this dot myself equals myself. I should really make a base ability because every ability takes myself as a parameter. I should really have just ability and have them all take it so I don't have to keep typing all this. If myself dot transform dot, is there an easy way? There might be like an easy way already built into Unity. Unity check if on screen. On became invisible. That's interesting. We could make a new type of action for when an object becomes invisible. Might be a pain in the butt though. But it might not be. Do we really want abilities for when something comes on or goes off the screen though? Is that worth having its own separate type? What other things could we do with that? If it goes off the screen, what else would we want to do with something if it went off the screen? Apart from just delete it. We would want to damage the player, right? You could have a type of enemy that spawned in the middle of the screen, and if it reached the edge of the screen and got off, then it hurt the player. Or go to the opposite side of the screen. That's another good one. So yeah, we will. Okay. Let's add a new type of ability. We'll add a folder called off-screen abilities. Let's add a new class called off-screen ability. Look, F off namespace, we don't care about you. Public abstract off-screen ability. What does that help us? No, not really. But we need this abstract class anyway. So public abstract void activate. Okay. And then we'll say public class die off screen ability. Not really an ability, it's more of a curse, isn't it? But that's fine. Is an off screen ability. So we need to implement activate. We also need to say private character myself public die off screen ability character myself this dot myself equals myself, and then we want to say myself dot kill me. There we go. And then public static class die off screen ability extensions public static character add die off screen ability this character. Then we want to say ability equals new die off screen ability with the character, and then we want to say the character dot off screen abilities dot add ability, and then return the character. So by making one of these for each of these new types of ability, that's what lets us do this kind of thing. Which is a lot nicer than what we used to do, right? Where we had the list and we were adding them all one by one and it was really messy. This is a lot cleaner to see what we've added. However, in the character, we now need to add another list. Public list, off-screen ability, off-screen abilities. And our character builder needs to character.offScreen abilities equals new list of off-screen abilities. And there's another one of these events we want to reach called void. What's it called? On became invisible. Now this might not be fully what we want because we might actually want to make some things invisible without them going off the screen. But for now it'll do. We might want some invisible enemies later or something. But I don't think we'd ever make them fully invisible. We'd probably make them like 99% invisible. But anyway, if you become invisible, then for each var ability in this dot off screen abilities. How do you remember code like on became invisible? I didn't. I've got the Unity documentation up on screen in another window. So, because I don't know Unity that well, you just do a Google search and then you find it. Most coding involves doing Google searches, honestly. You can't remember the specifics. You can just remember like the patterns. And then you say, oh, what's it called? How do you do that again? And you Google it and you go, oh, okay, on became invisible. And then you just type it in. For each ability, we want to do ability.activate. And there we go. We should be done. So now, if we go to our, shoot at cursor ability, we probably want to create a bullet builder instead of doing all this inside this ability, but maybe not. Maybe not. Now we can say also add die off screen ability. Now, theoretically, I'm not 100% sure this is going to work. The bullets should die when they go out of this square. And for some reason they are not. Seems to be running faster though, so maybe it's considering this to be the screen. I think it is, yeah. Look, it's killing them as soon as they go off this screen. So it's running a lot faster. It used to be slowing down, now it's not. With a lot more bullets in play. Which is good, because we're going to want an absolute ton of bullets. Or entities, rather. Remember, these aren't technically bullets. They're characters. They're just as much of a character as the player is. So we can do something really douchey. It's fine. We could theoretically make a shoot at target. Are you going to have the camera follow the player? Well, we'll have multiple options for the camera, right? The camera we'll have to think about that. It's a good question. It's a good question. Possibly, I would say. Possibly. I mean, we can do that easily, right? To do that in Unity, all you have to do is take the camera and... Actually, it's not going to be that easy. Because we're not generating our player here. But I think it'd be alright. If our player spawner had a reference to the camera. Public camera. Well, let's do it now just to see if we can. I think it's easy. So the player spawner takes a camera, so we can say the main camera is going in there. And then when we create a player, we also want to do player.gameObject dot add component. This dot camera. No. Add camera to object Unity. We should get this relatively quickly. Could you have the camera follow the blue since the player is the only blue thing? That'd be more complicated than what we're going to do, because the player might not be the only blue thing. So Unity camera follow player. Let's see what people suggest. Unity programmatically add child to object. Transform.parent, the parent of the transform. Ahaha! So we do this. This dot camera dot transform dot parent equals player dot game object dot transform. There we go. And now, theoretically, it's hard to tell, but you can see the camera is following the player. It's just we've got the player at the bottom of the screen. So we would want to do this. We would want to say, okay, the main camera starts wherever the player spawner is. In fact, we can make it be a child of the player spawner. And we can say its position is 0, 0, 0. Right? Technically, that is working, but because I set it to 0, 0, 0, that needs to be, what, -10? Problem is when we die. Look what it's done. So, you know, there's a bit of complexity to it. But if we did want to do it, I guess the point is, it's, not too difficult. For now, we're just going to keep it static. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter right now, right? We've got bigger fish to fry. Bigger things to worry about. In the future, we'll come up with a really nice way of controlling the camera. But for now, we're trying to get cool abilities working. And that's okay. So, the question is, what do we do next? You can just restart the game every time you die. Well, yeah, you could do that. This is alright though, huh? Oh, we keep dying. We need to fix that issue where the enemy doesn't come after us if we respawn. Allow the enemy to shoot at you. Yeah, okay. So we've got shoot at cursor. We also want shoot at target, right? And that is a constant ability. So we don't want them to fire when we fire. Fix bullet spacing and reloading. Yeah, let's do that. So... question is, what defines... No, let's do that later. For now, we'll do public class shoot at target ability. There's a reason for that. I think when it comes to shooting, we're going to want to make a separate weapon class. and that's going to get quite complicated. So we'll do shoot at target first, because it'll feel good. And then we might be able to take out some commonality from these, and yeah, that'll be alright. So, shoot at target. Oh, we already have targeted constant ability. Brilliant. That's a targeted constant ability. Awesome. And for that one, we need to take all of these again. Well, let's generate the constructor. It takes myself and it takes a target. So that's cool. It's also... Eventually we'll want to have a targeter instead of passing in the target specifically, so that it can keep looking for new targets. But for now we'll just do the same as we do for movement, right? Once we have a targeter we can use it for movement and for shooting, but we don't have one yet. So we'll do this, and then we can think about creating a targeter, so that we don't have that issue anymore when we die. And then, once we have that, we can start making allies who shoot the enemy. That will be cool. And then we can have the ability to create allies. And that'll be really nice. So, first things first. We need character builder and color, right? I think that's it. You think my idea of creating everything in code before putting it into the game was a good idea? Or before I need it? Well, exactly, right? That's what I was thinking. If we prepare enough in advance, we'll be able to do some really nice stuff. At least that's what I'm hoping. Although I do get the horrible feeling we're just delaying the inevitable, and that we're going to come up with something new where we will need to completely rewrite some stuff. But that's always the case. We'll see when we reach that point. At least we've got a good foundation to build on. So when we activate, we want to basically do this again, right? Except, see, this is where you know that you're getting inefficient when you copy pasting code like this. Also, we don't need that texture path anymore. Target. You can't wait until this turns out to be an RPG. Yeah, I know, right? Character type. So it's damaging the target character type. It's dying over time. It's dying off screen. It's moving towards... Instead of this, we want it to be target.transform.position minus position. We're not using the mouse position anymore. Character type is bullet. And I think that's it. Except we need to create one of these. This is going to be shoot at target ability extensions. Mr. Blob, they've taken my squares. Could you please go get them for me? I would like you to hunt down 25 spheres and to bring back their squares. And I will pay you with 100 triangles. Add shoot at target ability. And that takes character. It doesn't take a key code because it's always doing it. Takes a character builder. Takes a color. And it takes a target. And it doesn't take a trigger. And that should be shoot at target ability. Right, that takes myself. Okay, target second. This isn't an active ability, it's a constant ability. Abilities. And there you go. Move that to its own file. Move this in there with it. Move this into constant abilities. And I think, don't quote me on this, I think that's it. So if we go to the enemy spawner, instead of shooting at the cursor, let's add shoot at target ability, which takes player spawner dot characters dot first. We'll fix that eventually, so it takes some sort of targeting system. It takes a color dot magenta, and it takes, wait, no, that's last. And it takes a builder. And then we can get rid of this. Now, is this going to work first time? I'm feeling confident. I think it will. Ugh! Oh my god, he's too strong. He's too strong. Ah! We've made a monster. Oh my god. Joke's on him though. If we die, he stops shooting us. And then he comes back. Ah! Final boss. If you're quick enough, you can actually. Oh no, he got me that time. If you're quick enough, you can duck between them. Ugh. Oh my god, he's insane. Oh yeah. Ugh. Okay, that's actually quite fun. Right. This needs to be the final boss. No, the final boss is going to be something absolutely crazy. That would be like the first boss. Not the final boss. The final boss is going to be firing bullets, and those bullets are going to be firing bullets. And those bullets are going to be firing bullets. Oh yes. What we can do, right? Secret boss, yeah. What we can do, right, is the first boss will just fire some bullets. The second boss will fire the first boss as a bullet. Right? The third boss will fire the second boss as a bullet. And he will fire the first boss as a bullet. So the final boss will be firing a bullet which will spawn the second final boss, which will spawn the next boss, all the way down to the first boss. This sounds like terrible design. You never know, it might work. It just might work. Remember, by the time you get to that point, your character will be godlike as well. You'll be firing bullets that summon laser storms. Yeah, of course you get upgrades. That's the whole point, right? The enemies get upgrades, but so do you. Remember what you were saying about when you kill an enemy.